Wherever you are, viewer, it's another moment, it's another time that we are meeting here on LTN. And as usual, this is the Cardinal Talk Show, where we bring you matters, politics, and what has happened through the week. As usual, again, it is time that we get people here who can help us understand the happenings politically that actually made headlines for us. As a presenter here, I am also very, very happy to welcome back one of our pundits who's been away for some time, but it's good he's now back, and we can pick it from where we left it, and he will tell us who he is. And again, I have on my left a regular pundit with us here, a regular analyst with us here, Wakili, who will also, for purposes of just reminding us his name, he will have its opportunity. However, feel welcome. My name is Okello. This is the Cardinal Talk Show. Let's see what happened through the week. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine.
I know.
But we must follow the regulation.
Of course, the COVID regulations are there.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. Yeah. I'm Samson Owimba Ojiayo. Yes, that is my name.
That's your name?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, actually, former director now, because you used to know me as a director of Earthy Water Services Board. Yeah. Now I'm a former director of Earthy Water Services Board. Yes. And
a Jubilee stalwart. Don't forget to say that.
Okay, I'm a member of Jubilee, the way you're putting it.
Jubilee Party. No, not even Jubilee Insurance.
Yes.
Okay, welcome back. It's good to see you. It's been long.
Yes.
On my left is Wakili, is a lawyer, an advocate, a practicing advocate in this city. And for purposes of just reminding us your name, kindly have the courtesy.
I'm Paul Aon. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Yes, gentlemen, I want to just start with what actually to me was the biggest political development of the week. There is this faction of Jubilee Party that seems to be gravitating towards the deputy president. That group in Mount Kenya this week decided that they want to go and present a petition, conditions, to the deputy president as a way of buying their support, number one. And two, to also confirm to them that the region, Mount Kenya region, would be in the government should William Ruto and his team form the next government. Well, politics is politics. They said the reason why they moved there is because they are speaking for the people. Remember, this is President Uhuru Kenyatta's backyard. Guys have met here without his involvement, without even his attention, and they don't even care. But they are going to Deputy President William Ruto to ask him if he will stand with the community. From a political point of view, Wakili, let me start with you. What does it portray? Is it intolerance? Is it lack of respect? Is it because Uhuru right now doesn't have any political, so to say? Or is it just because these are jilted people who feel they now want to show Uhuru Kenyatta they also have the people and the numbers?
Thanks, Nick, for your question. I think we've said here before, and I'll repeat it, that politics is a very simple concept. And it's a concept that, one, resources are scarce. Resources are not available for everybody. To mean people must come within certain formations, people must talk to each other, and people must put their interests so that they understand that, yes, if you end up as president, we will give you our support, but this is what we want in return when you get it. To mean that they have to crystallize and say that, fine, for you to be president, you need at least 8 million votes. This region, or our people, have 3 million votes. We can help deliver these 3 million votes to you, but we are delivering them, and this is what we want back. So yes, that is what politics is all about. And let me not ask you, let me not lie to you. Any politician, whether it's Uhuru Kenyatta, whether it's that formation that is supporting William Ruto, all that they are keen on is that there must be certain interest that they want to be catered for by the person who ends up to be president. because politics is all about who gets what, where, and when. Maybe there are certain things that they want protected. Sometimes you get into politics, or your request is that I'll want to hold on back to this. And as such, I'll support you so that I remain holding on to this. Because you see, these are politics, these are where businessmen are, these people are farmers, maybe you want industries, maybe you want roads, maybe you want hospitals, and you have to agree with the person who is going to be there that yes, this is what is important to our people. Our people will give you their votes, but you must now give them this level 5 hospital, or you must now complete this road, or you must make Nick to be the minister in charge of health so that now he can help to draft the policy to ensure that this and this and this has continued. So I won't really say that it's intolerance. I think they're just being realistic, that yes, we'll support you, but this is what, because you see, there's a difference between supporting somebody without putting your interest on the table and supporting somebody and telling them that this is what I want in return. So to me, I think they're just realistic, and let's also be fair. Uhuru Kenyatta has also been meeting with so many people without them or without asking them that should I be meeting with Gideon Moi, Raila Odinga. Yes, they are all politicians, and in politics it's all about interest. And it's not, sorry to say, nobody is an headmaster where you have to ask the principal or the head teacher whether you can go out and meet anybody. I think fate is personal. They've already decided that our fate is here with William Ruto. But yes, let him also know this is what we want in return. But also, let's not really say that that is the final thing. Because they might go sit down with William Ruto, then they are unable to agree. These interests are still there. They can still meet with somebody else and they come and say that yes, because let's also not assume that William Ruto will also say yes to everything they'll ask for.
Mm. Well, great. It's about interest. For you, it's about interest and nothing else. And I bring you in now. For this to happen, for this guy to decide, he says that there is nobody to prefect anybody in politics, and therefore it is it's within their rights to converge, to associate, to do anything they want as long as it's within the law. And yes, this is politics. It could be search for a pre-election coalition or something, just like he says. But again, if you read politics in its own dimensions, this to me appears like these people are done with Uhuru Kenyatta and they're charting a new course without him. They are telling him, sir, look, your time is over and you're now remaining here, you are going home. We must now decide for ourselves, not you. Is it going to augur well for Mount Kenya region, or it might bring divisions within the very region?
Number one, Nick, thank you for that question. But let us look at the political chessboard where these people are. And I want also, number one, to thank the leaders of Central because they've come up and applied the good political hygiene in their politics, whereby even though they differ, you cannot see people want to, fight or do any other thing. Now they're negotiating. There's no actually kind of uprising in Central that you are doing this and all that. People are talking, but also they meet, they discuss. Who said that Uhuru maybe might not be part of that meeting? Because we still don't know. Like, for example, in 2017, when we were going for election, Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto were very actually together. As we are talking, that can be believed that Uhuru Kenyatta is not with Ruto per se.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Now that's what I mean, because
Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto
it's not obvious because Uhuru Kenyatta was
just hold on.
Yes.
As we go on, the bromance between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto is no longer there. These people don't even meet. These people don't even do things. In fact, the moment Matiang'i was appointed as the chairman of the committee of ministers or CSs, that was telling Ruto, you know what? I don't need you. I have somebody do your work. Now, you can't say right now that from a political point of view, Uhuru would be playing some cards below the table, and this is all politic.
If we can go back to our archives, since 2013 up to, to date, once upon a time, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudavadi, and Raila Odinga were not together with Raila Odinga. Is that right? As we are talking, Raila Odinga, and what are the words Uhuru used to use about Raila Odinga? What are the words Raila used to use about, the names kind of Raila used to call Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta? So as we are talking about, what I'm talking about, we do not know actually what is going to take place. But the reason I'm saying that, the central people, I admire them in one thing. Despite the fact that we are seeing that bigger rift within that community, we can see that there's that political tolerance within that region. So we keep on gazing. As we are talking, how many months? 14 months to election?
15
About 15 months. We do not know what is going to take place up there. We still don't know. There's a lot of political confusion, and good enough, you can see now, people are being paraded. Uhuru Kenyatta with Raila, Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon and all that have another outfit. Ruto is also there, doing some other thing. But we can see how the central people are asking themselves, are these people honest? I don't think if being honest is about actually what you want. These people, they're bargaining with Ruto with their interests. Remember, all of us, all the politicians who are here, at one point they leave that, the political podium for some new generation. What will remain? What did you do at your time? You get the point? So I think the central people are trying to be realistic and do actually their civic duty, because they are representing some constituency. There are people they are representing. So when they are bargaining, they know exactly why they are bargaining. So we do not know, and in fact it's good, to me you are saying that that's a good move, because if they'll get it through Jubilee, through coalition or handshake, so be it. Ruto, president is bargaining this side. They are also bargaining the other end. What are we doing some other communities? That need to be another question.
Well, for other communities, maybe for another day.
Yes.
We are trying to look at Uhuru Kenyatta, who is currently the president of the Republic of Kenya. His backyard has been the Mount Kenya region.
Yes.
That has been his bargaining position in any political discourse in this country. Right now, we know there has been serious fallout within Jubilee. And for legislators, in their numbers ranging to 40, to go meet somewhere and then decide that they're taking a political course that is not within the purview of the sitting president, it tells something. Is it a revolt? You said it's interest, but again, are you reading any
mischief or what?
Not mischief. Yeah. Is it a revolution of sorts? Is it now time people are saying that, you see, you could be president, yes, you could be having your own thinking, but we are the people. We represent the people.
Nick, I want to be blatant and I want to say it is failure of leadership from Uhuru Kenyatta himself. If you lead a people, you're supposed to consult them, you're supposed to be with them, you're supposed to even chart the common cause so that you go through it together. I tend to think that most of what is going on in Mount Kenya is as a result of Uhuru Kenyatta, sorry to say, the right word is being aloof, where he doesn't sit down with those people.
He's detached.
He doesn't listen to what they have to say. He doesn't, because you see, one, if he would have sat down with them, even understood and explained to them that this is where I am, and this is where I am because of this and this, and I want us all to go together on behalf of our people, then we will not have, because you realize there was, even William Ruto ended up being more or less like the kingpin of Mount Kenya by Uhuru Kenyatta being away, that there are issues going on there. Those people are raising issues where there are issues relating to things like milk, things like tea, or even just the political direction. He was simply not there. Look at other politicians. They're always in their backyard. They're always with their people. They're always listening and chatting all those things together.
But who says it's not time for politics yet? He says, let's first of all work, fix problems, and then politics later.
But Nick, I agree with you.
Yeah.
When you have a people, you can tell them it is not yet time for politics, and you tell them when that time for politics is. But the real truth is...
So are you saying that Uhuru needs to have a calendar?
What is actually happening is Uhuru is actually playing his politics. He's actually playing
He's in
politics.
the political podium as we are talking.
Like you can see him is meeting even now the BBI politics. You can see him meeting the likes of Kingi, the likes of Joe, the likes of Mudavadi and the Okello Kenya Alliance and all that. So he can't really say that it's not time for politics. When his things are moving, yet he wants you people to stay still and your things are not moving. Like him, you can get and wait for him. And you see, I can actually tell you, the problem in Mount Kenya has been brought by Uhuru Kenyatta himself. Because these people were under him, he never sat down with them. Like, sorry to say, he was even supposed to tell them, if he's not going to back William Ruto, he was supposed to tell them that, yes, I'm not going to back William Ruto because of this and this and this and this and this. Or even tell them, because, like, how can somebody tell you, like, for example, you see this Central Kenya MPs, where they say somebody is telling you that it's not time for politics, it's time for work. And there is no work going there in Central Kenya. These people have issues concerning, these people have issues concerning things that are concern, even tea, things like tea and all those other things, which the president is not handling. These people have businesses that they feel our businesses are being stifled, yet the president is not handling.
Okay, just hold on.
Yes.
Just to correct you on something here.
Yes.
Issues of tea and debts and all these things were cleared by the same president and his government just in their first term of administration. You remember the debts that were there for the cooperatives, the tea farmers and the dairy farmers. At one time, there was this blanket, should I say, amnesty that was given over debts there. And they were reduced.
Yes, but you see, Nick, the issue is not as simple as writing off debts. The issue is that these people are farmers, they are growing, they are not getting value, they are unable to get market for their products, or even they've not been given. It's like the president is not listening. You tell him that, yes, this is the way to go, come sit and listen to us, or we want us to tackle this together, or this is the way that we should go with this. And the president is literally not listening. So I tend to think, whether it's the common mwananchi, whether it's the MPs, they want to engage somebody who is listening and somebody who is ready to work with them. However difficult the circumstances are, they want somebody who can work with them and who can actually listen to the issues they are saying. And even if he's unable to address them, tell them that this is how we are going to go about this.
Is Uhuru Kenyatta, according to Wakili, showing us how not to manage successions, how not to be a good leader to your people? Is he a perfect example of that bad example of what leadership is when it comes to somebody who is a president?
I don't want to buy that narrative, because when you're using bad, I don't know what you mean, because Uhuru Kenyatta is doing...
No, he says is a loaf. I'm talking to you as a Jubilee stalwart. Uhuru is a loaf, is not with the people, he doesn't sit down.
This is belief and thinking.
And that's why I want this debate to be directed to, because obviously we can't have things like this happening when somebody was in charge, number one. And if he's in charge, like it's supposed to be, then we should have seen something different from what you're seeing right now. As Wakili says, he seems to be away, he's absent, he's a leader in absentia.
You know, Uhuru is not actually the president of Mount Kenya. Uhuru is the president of all the Republic of Kenya. Each and every community in this country have their uniqueness and their problem, and in fact, Uhuru needed to listen to what they want. You know, so as we are talking, we are narrowing it down to Mount Kenya for political reasons, because it's like now Uhuru is pulling, going north, some people are taking him to south, and most so actually the politicians, 90% of them actually are behaving in a manner likely to suggest that they are not actually listening to the voice of Uhuru Kenyatta. To me, I'm taking you back to what I said about in the chase. You cannot actually rule out what Uhuru is saying. Because if the other day Uhuru actually was not actually with the team which I quoted earlier, who told you that Uhuru will not actually bring Mount Kenya? The other, because he's playing that politics, in that political, because even if you look at things, there are some things which are obvious. These people are crying, they are coming together, but president is like, it's not actually even worried about it. Are you getting that? Were they worried about what our opponent was saying in 2013? They were not worried. What about 2017? They were not worried. Some few months down the line, now together there, as we are talking, the handshake have pushed us up to this moment. Are you getting that? So that is the kind of politics maybe Uhuru is trying to play.
So you don't see him like somebody who is a leader in absentia. He's not aloof.
It's not aloof.
For you, that is his brand of
That
politics.
is a brand of politics. It might look actually ugly or weird, but that's a brand of politics.
But there's something that is so interesting. One day in the annals of history, it will be written that Uhuru Kenyatta was the first ever president that his own people actually nearly revolted against during his time in office. We saw Kibaki here prepared Uhuru's succession. We saw Moi preparing Uhuru's presidency. We've seen these things happen time and again. Uhuru doesn't seem to be now thinking of anything.
But you see, in 2020, the last election when Kibaki was elected, remember we had some four agendas which came out of that negotiation over none. And meaning that even that election was facilitated, the people were rallied behind those four agendas. And we are told to implement. That's why the Uhuru's government, in terms of succession, is not guided. Are you getting that?
But he's supposed to be guiding that. He's the president himself, actually. He wants to be a president who will sit back in retirement and now marvel at how well he worked in terms of succession. Not a president who will sit back and then look at how he messed the succession.
No, according to you, that is not what I'm saying. I'm still repeating this. I don't know whether I'm boring people, but chessboard. Uhuru is in that. Sometimes you find yourself, people are asking, is the outfit of Mudavadi, Gideon, and all that, is that what Uhuru is supporting? Is it with Jubilee and ODM? Is that the outfit? Is Uhuru Kenyatta actually fighting Ruto and all that? Are you not seeing that this guy actually, who knows where we are going? Uhuru Kenyatta knows where we are going.
But I think you can't know alone. You must bring people on board, and that's leadership, of course. Well, as we look still into that, I also want to look at this matter in terms of what, in the forces we call it mutiny. Where your soldiers would defy orders and break the very rules. I think as it is right now, there is something that is eating people in Central Province, in Mount Kenya region, because looking at that conglomeration of leaders who are there, it's people from Nakuru County, like Kipia, not only in Mount Kenya, even in Nakuru. People like Susan Kiika were there. So they're representing a larger Gikuyu or Gema community. Linturi was there representing Meru. So you look at all this thing, and it's not only about Uhuru's succession plan alone. Now, the question now comes, is Ruto trying to poke Uhuru even further more than he's done? Because now there are no political movements, he can't move like he was moving. But now, did he have to come with this one? Is it a Ruto thing? Or is it a Mount Kenya thing? That is now the question that I want you to answer before we go for the break. In your own assessment, is it a Ruto thing trying to pull somebody's leg? Nick, or what is it?
Nick, the truth about Uhuru and Ruto is simple. Uhuru is going away in 15 months. By then, all that will remain is what did he do while he's in office. Meaning all that he's keen on is his legacy as he goes out. Ruto, in 15 months, will either be the president or will not be the president of this country. Meaning you have two people working on two different things. And yes, politics about strategy. If you realize that somebody is just keen on his legacy and is not keen on you succeeding him, what do you do? Do you sit and wait for that not to happen? Ruto is just being realistic. He's looking for the votes. He's looking for the numbers. Like, for example, and I agree with him, he knows that the Mount Kenya block is 3 million plus votes. Meaning if Uhuru will not get them to him, he has to look for somebody to get them to him. And he's just serious. He's just looking and he's saying, if in 15 months, Uhuru is still not keen on rallying this support base for me, why should I not look for somebody else to rally this support base for me or to keep it for me? So I think it's not even about immunity. He is just being realistic and he's saying it's like somebody where like you have 15 months to sit for an exam, and somebody want to engage you in things that will not be in the exam. So I think he's just looking at his interest, because like I said, politics is all about interest. Ruto is looking at, how will I get the Mount Kenya vote? Who will bring it to me? What do they want in return? If Uhuru is not ready to discuss that, let me look for people who are ready to discuss that. Let me look and work. If the issue is people in Mount Kenya want somebody who can listen to them, let me sit down and listen to them. And it's not only people of Mount Kenya. That level of anger that Uhuru is not listening to is almost everywhere. Look at artists who are saying, our business is in bars, hotels, and public gatherings. Why are you not listening? How many others? Look at people within the hospitality industry who are saying that, fine, come sit down with us. We understand what is happening. But yes, you cannot condemn us to this life. Look at the job losses and all that. So I think Ruto has come in as the person who is listening and the person ready to address some of these things, however difficult they are. And that's why he's succeeding in Central and Mount Kenya.
Nick,
Yeah.
if I can look at it this way too, maybe Uhuru has studied the psyche of the Kenyan populace, and he knows very well that when I want to meet Aol, I need to play my card with the leader up there. Take, for example, Kibaki Tosha. How many months did we take with Kibaki Tosha? And who was thinking in that platform that Kibaki would become the president?
Hardly 3 months.
Hardly 3 months. So as we are talking, the farmers may make noise, so and so may make noise, but I think that now if I can play this card with the leaders, within 2 months or 4 months, I'll change the whole scenario. It might be a dangerous kind of move, and that's why, remember I say something here, Nick, that who was Ruto in 2017 election? Even in Nairobi. Take, for example, in Nairobi. Ruto did not have power in Nairobi. But you remember when Sonko went, when he was actually thrown away out of the office, there was an attempt that we are going to have a by-election. Ruto was somebody in Nairobi, simply because of the mistakes which Senior is talking about, that there's that kind of gaps. Maybe to me, I'm thinking in terms of, because these are obvious things which actually Uhuru he knows exactly that when I'm doing this here, I'm messing up. When I'm doing this thing, I'm messing up. Uhuru is the only person with advisors. People informing every day. He knows how the kind of political temperatures and everything in this country. So he knows this thing. And why is it that he's repeating it? To me, and that's why I'm trying to justify that, because I'm seeing some of you call them obvious kind of mistakes. You ask yourself as a politician, why did the president do this? And repeat the same mistake.
He doesn't care.
No. That's what he's saying now. But what about at the end of the day, even in terms of legacy? How do you celebrate that? In fact, I messed till actually that one made me, even whoever became my candidate could not go to the office. You can't celebrate on that.
Well. It's still about Uhuru Kenyatta and the Mount Kenya region. You know, things are happening so fast, sometimes very furious. And before we comprehend their outcome, another one happens. Yes, things just can't hold together right now. And as a Jubilee stalwart, he's only failing to tell us that there's nothing well that this legacy of Jubilee would one day tell Kenyans. And I'm coming back to ask you that question. Because Kenyans don't want to know who will succeed Uhuru Kenyatta. Kenyans want to know at the end of the 10 years, what did the administration of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta as the president do to them? So whether Uhuru is marking time and making obvious mistakes and is happy about it, whether it's about interest, whether Ruto is taking advantage of some loopholes, all that is politics. What Kenyans want to see is the Big Four agenda, low-cost housing. Very important. There are things, if you touch on, they are real things to Kenyans. Universal healthcare. Where are we? Talking about legacy and succession of Uhuru Kenyatta, it's becoming even messier. Time is shrinking so fast, it can't even now catch up, let alone imagine. So as Kenyans, time will come, we'll demand to know exactly what the 10 years have been and what will count home when Uhuru leaves office in about 15 months' time. Don't go away, it's the Cardinal Talk Show. We'll be coming back with more talk on suffering that Kenyans went through about the curfew thing. Welcome back. If you're joining right now, we were having a hearty chat here with these two gentlemen. During the break, it's time now to at least talk what we can talk. However, it's not bad. If you're joining us right now, please do join the conversation on our hashtag. That is the Cardinal Talk Show. You can also join us on our social media pages. Facebook page is Lolwe TV. Twitter handle is at Lolwe TV. Or you can do it via my Twitter handle at Okello7. All the information you give here will be using to determine and see what you feel about this show and the way you contribute to it. Yes, when we left for the break, it was a time that you were looking at how Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the President of the Republic of Kenya, has been handling his politics. Let alone the presidency, but is politics per se. Now looking at matters as they are, seemingly things are moving from even harder to harder positions given the COVID-19 prevailing situation. However, even the way we now see things happening in the COVID front, it's remaining a appalling scenario of happenings. It's a comedy of sorts now. I don't think we are getting to where we say now we are containing COVID-19 because the very people, the subjects who are supposed to be beneficiaries of this containment are now crying. We've seen particular happenings like the roadblocks being placed. We've seen people with children stuck in jams, trying to cry and making sense to go and find medication. They can't because of snarl-ups. People sleeping in the cold in their cars in the name of COVID-19 containment. Yes, rules are there to be followed. But again, rules are there to make sense. If Kenyans would be sleeping on the wayside in their vehicles, is that even human in the first place? Now, are we containing COVID? Or we are creating more problems besides COVID?
Nick, I understand where you're coming from. The truth about rules is that the law should not really exist without a basis or some sort of consideration. That's why you see, like, even in Kenya, that you can pass a law, then you realize that it's not effective. And that's why we have even bodies like Kenya Law Review, where you go back and you look at why is this law not succeeding? Why does it not have the effect it was supposed to have? First, I think you look at the type of jobs in Kenya, that even if employers release employees at 5, you look at the traffic. Like, for example, which is something that I've told so many people, I live on Jogo Road. Jogo Road has 2 lanes. And look at all the estates on Jogo Road. You have Pipeline, you have Dandora, you have Umoja, you have Kayole,
It's the conduit
you have
to Islam.
Donham. So you look at, is it possible that even if people start moving between 5 and 8, that those vehicles will be able to do the routes and come back and pick people? That time is not enough because the infrastructure does not allow. And to me, these are the things that we really need to be looking at, that even as an employer, you release, because let's be practical. They are saying that in Nairobi, we are almost 4 million of us. Is it possible that even if you have 2 million within the CBD, that they can exit within 1 hour or 2 hours? So I think it's a way that you need to come back and you look at, is it that people don't want to comply or the time frame does not allow? And I think that, and I'll still come back to what I said before, we have a government that is not listening. Because you need to sit down, look at, because also now the other truth is that people get paid for value. If you are an employer, you want to ensure that you get value for their money, meaning you cannot release an employee at 3 and still maintain their salary at how much you are paying. You also want to get value out of this money. Or even look at, for example, I have seen reports that say that, for example, we have almost up to 80,000 cars being registered in Kenya in a year. And out of this 8,000, almost Nairobi get almost between 3,000 to 4,000 cars every month entering Nairobi. You are not expanding the roads that fast, and within a year, you will have almost 50,000 new cars, and almost these 50,000 cars, they are not public transport, they are private. So you have small roads, but you also have a government that has insisted that I'll enforce. Because look at that snarl-up when they locked at 8. Can you really say that all those people were keen on violating the curfew? Some are very good citizens, but they are caught up. Because, like, look at even how people, I don't know whether you've been to any bus stage, you see how people struggle from 5 just to get into a matatu. It's crazy. And you see, also, those matatu, sometimes, and I agree with them, because sometimes they get practical. If you're told that you can only carry half or a third, and you look at, it won't be possible for me to come back and pick these people before the curfew. You will even now carry the excess because you want to help as many people as possible. It's not that you are keen on violating the curfew rules, but you're also being practical because you're looking at, you're saying, even if we were to do 5 trips, it will still not be possible to get these whole people all home safely. Let's even now carry so that we ensure that we take as many people as possible. So I have a feeling that some of these laws relating to curfew, relating to these directives about COVID, they were not well thought out.
It's time to review them.
It's time to review them. It's time to look again whether are they working for us or they are not working. For example, I've also seen that somehow the prevalence is also not going down, that you're trying to be strict and all these other things, or you will end up with a situation, because the other thing that we are risking, that you end up with a situation where the people say, enough is enough. Like you saw what happened in the Arabian Spring, where now people began saying, enough is enough, and those revolt. Because, like, let me ask you, you saw that snarl up on Thika Road. Suppose some people decided that now I want to go and overrun this roadblock. Whether you are shooting us or not, we will go and overrun this thing. You know, it's a very serious thing, because you see, all that is supposed to happen is that if a police officer tells you to stop, you're supposed to stop. What happens if Kenyans begin feeling that you police officers, you are enough, or we are tired of this, or we've stopped listening, and now if a police officer flags you down, you refuse to flag down.
I think then of course it becomes social disorder.
Yes. So I think this government needs to listen to its citizens, and what is possible to do or address, they address. Because also now, Nick, this is also the other problem before we give him the chance. Most people are asking you that what has it locked the country to do? Has it locked the country so that we get vaccinated? Do they even have enough to vaccinate everybody? How do we even access?
Even the plan.
I think, Nick, number one, I want to agree with the senior.
Yeah.
Number one, COVID is real. It is there. The environment actually seen as if we are at a state of war with the government. Because we need to be informed. We need to know when they are blocking the road. What do they want to achieve? When you are telling me to be in my house at 8, what is it? Is it scientific kind of, what is it that we want to achieve? Because we are not fighting with it.
It's containment. They say it's containment. Actually, the executive order is about containment of the spread.
2 million you're talking, 2 million are in town. First of all, look at it this way. In each and every road which is within the CBD, there are 2 lanes. Some are actually serving like this, and then like now you go to Koinange and all that. There are 2 lanes. You want actually 2 million to leave their working station. Number one, nobody will allow you to leave before 5 or 5:30. You leave 5:30. All of you left CBD, you are going for your stage to take your matatu. When you are leaving the town, you use those 2 lanes. Somebody will tell you like Thika Road and all that, or there may be 4 lanes. 4 lanes are only fed with the 2 lanes. Then when you go up to maybe, let's say that Kahawa or Mwiki or whatever, you are coming back to pick people using the same 2 lanes. Well, even if you are trying to calculate that you want to beat time so that you will be in your residential or whatever, it's not possible. It's not practical. But again, government agencies are all over. They need to know exactly what is there, and they report back. So there are some information which actually we need to have them at our fingertips, because we are reading newspapers, we are watching like TVs and all that. But some of us who are now are informed in the society. If somebody like me can sit in this TV station asking myself big question, what about somebody who's there who do not even have time to listen to something? So I think we need to look into something so that even some of us will help government to implement these regulations, not actually becoming as if, even me, there was a time I did not come with my vehicle in town. I was like, now, and I went to some other place there to catch up with the matatu. It was messy. I had to look for Uber, and the guy was like, now, how do I get out of this place in the first place? Calculating, and I'll be going to the other side of town again. Even some transport, I said, no, I cannot go there.
Well, now, looking at this whole scenario, it's a time you say we should review some of this executive order or the law as it is on curfew. One, people are wondering whether we are even making strides in containment of the COVID spread. Number 2, we are looking at how it's infringing on the economic well-being of the people. And again, another thing that now comes out so clearly here, it's the inconvenience it causes, even to people who are not working, but people want to access like hospitals, people want to access essential services, but can't get there because of these barricades and all these other things that are put here. Now, we again look at this. Don't you think it's time now questions must be asked? In the US, as late as Thursday, they had reached 200 million vaccinations for their people. They have that data. They can tell. On Thursday, Biden was celebrating his 92nd day in office with a landslide vaccination report of 200 million US citizens who had been vaccinated. In fact, they're getting to the next phase where now anybody over 16 years must be vaccinated. Ours is a containment that is just containment. We're not making any strides. We're not telling guys that, now go and get your injection there. All we hear is that the Ministry of Health is now changing tune again to now bring Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccination. They're putting aside AstraZeneca because somehow the COVAX partnership that was there for 190 countries from India seems to have fallen somewhere. Nobody explains anything here. The other day, the Russian vaccine was shipped out. It was shipped in, shipped out, and nobody even knows who got it, how they got it. We are looking at a very disrupted kind of system that nothing seems to be working. So that's why I'm asking, this curfew, as it goes on, and as citizens of this country, what must people do? Because we must ask questions. This is our government. The government has to listen to its people. They can't turn blind to this. They can't turn deaf to this. Something has to happen. Because this country really is reeling under the weight of a lot of pressure.
But I think, Nick, you need to look at it this way. For example, the issue of vaccination have been politicized. If you go to the social media, like now you're saying Russian medicine came and went. First of all, how did it come? Somebody is asking that question. And why is it that it went back? Now, it has been politicized. And now you see that, if you are vaccinated, there will be clothes and all that. Nobody is explaining to the citizen that, in fact, this is the true story about this. Some people are saying that I cannot be vaccinated because I don't want to die. Whether true or not, we cannot tell. Number 2, the question is, if you are vaccinated, so what? Are you saying that when you are vaccinated now you cannot get it? Are you going to stop wearing mask? Are you saying that now you are safe? What, those questions. So we need actually that information. Information is power. You got the point? We are not being informed. And so people don't know. I understand that maybe like teachers now, they're being told is that mandatory. You need to be vaccinated. If you go to maybe some kind of the teachers, I have one in my house who is a teacher. He's telling me now, do I go for that vaccination? She's asking that bigger question. She's right to some extent because nobody is informing her, giving her the right word, the right information, telling her that this is propaganda and this is the truth of the matter.
So entirely it is no information out there that people can rely on, and information that can help people actually know what they're chatting in terms of the course they're navigating presently, because we should have known, yes, we brought in this amount of vaccination of vaccines. Now we've done up to level X, we're moving to the next level, and this is the position where we are. And with this containment, imagine there are people don't even have even 100 bob. There are people you meet and I'm like, Jesus Christ, even 100 bob, they can't afford.
Actually, in slums here you go.
It's very painful.
100 bob is a lot of money.
Nobody is questioning them about this, Paul. What must be done?
Like I said, is that you don't just come up with a policy. If you look like even the Constitution, it recommended a process called public participation, where you're supposed to sit down, involve a people. They also tell you what they think about it. If you look at some other countries and what they are doing, it helps you understand. Because like even you, as a company, you are told that, yes, you close up, but we will give you some rebate on the taxes you pay. You tell people that you'll work from home, but this is the incentive of working from home. But yes, in Kenya, you come and you say, people should work from home. First of all, do you even understand how many jobs it's possible to work from home? Like you look at Nairobi, look at how many people are in the salons, look at how many people do shoe shine, look at how many people do boutiques, look at how many people are waiters, look at how many people are bouncers, look at how many people are Uber drivers. Realistically, what's the percentage of people who can work from home in Nairobi? To mean that you're telling somebody what is not practical. This person has children to feed. This person also, the landlord will be saying that it's the end of the month, I want this. Electricity nowadays, you have to buy tokens for you to access electricity. So it's not easy. Some of these people are not violating these things because they don't want to, but it's because circumstances cannot allow them.
They've got to live.
They've got to live. They've got to survive. And I don't think the government has lowered anything. You look at, in fact, everything else is going up. Because, for example, if the price of fuel goes up, you'll realize the price of virtually everything. Even what you just buy in the supermarket. If the price goes for even 10 shillings, you'll realize there's an increase of either shilling or 2 shillings in your bread, in your milk, because we use electricity to generate. And you see, sometimes you get a lot of wisdom from even people, like somebody tells you that I've been working on this car. This car used to carry 14 people. Now the government is telling me to only carry 7. And it tells you they've not reduced fuel. In fact, they've even increased fuel. Every time you get to a route, the police officer will be asking you for something. To mean that if you don't carry the maximum, it is you who will be going for a loss. The government is not going for any loss because it still wants to get how much it was getting in terms of revenue and taxes. And it has left you on your own. So you have to also look at, do I die today or do I make a risk to be alive for at least tomorrow? So I have a feeling that if this government could listen, because, Nick, there are certain things that even if you sit with industry players, you realize that there's a lot of things. For example, somebody tells you that they've closed all hotels, whether it is the size of Serena, whether it is the size of a restaurant. Because there are even restaurants where that you can actually say, now place your table this distance, so that this table to the next table, or even just have a sitting of 2 people per table. You will be able to get these people moving. Because like I've been with so many people who tells you that fine, I have 20 waiters. Given that it's only on takeaway, why do I need to retain all the 20?
You only need maybe 5.
I only need maybe 5. Now you see, by just a directive of saying on takeaway, you've made 15 people jobless. You've been having, because it's a busy place, you've been having even 2 cleaners or 3 cleaners. Now, given that it's only on takeaway, you just need 1 cleaner. So I have a feeling that if this government was to listen and treat each particular case on its own, and yes, and I agree with what my brother is saying, you need to give people a solution. Like you even tell people that I want to close this, let everybody go for vaccination. If we manage to get even 80% vaccination by the end of the month, I will open this country back again. But we have a government that says, I've done this indefinitely. When they realize that it's going to be like you realize this time, the president realized that it was unpopular for him to extend. So all they did was to tell Kenyans, this is in the government gazette. We just got the extension in the government gazette.
And I think, Nick,
they were even afraid to come and do it on their own in open TV.
If you take, for example, senior, Java, actually, the design of Javas, most of the Javas in town, you will find that maybe they can take 4 people sitting. Yes. Now, because within the county, we can manage ourselves such that instead of 4, we can take 2. Yes. And then make sure that some of the restaurants actually do the same. Yes. Still, actually, because takeaway, there's contact still.
Contact,
you know, there's still contact. So it doesn't make sense to me when you are saying that we close down. Now, when we are closing down, are we also thinking in terms of reviving the economy? What is the formula? These people have closed down. Nobody is telling them when they'll open. And what happened when they open? Some of them actually, they are working on loans and all that. How do they service their loans? Meaning that even if you open the country, we are very sure that some, hospitality industry will go completely.
Well, looking at this, sometimes most guys say, I'd rather go out there, get COVID, die of COVID, than die in my house with my kids and wife looking at me, helpless, unable to feed them, and looking miserable. Yes, sometimes you have to make choices. And this is what now the government really has to look after. Because one of the cardinal principles of any governance or any government is to look after the lives of people. And making their lives miserable is not part of that agreement or part of that contract that people get into with their government of the day. So I believe what you said here should inform our government in making the next right decision about curfews, containment, and what to be done. In fact, I hope and I wish that we would get a clear roadmap that is pronounced by the Ministry of Health and the government at large on the time of containment, the activities they are in, and when to open for proper planning. Even for the banks where loans are taken, they need that information to plan. Yes, let's change as we are headed to closing. You know, this is Cardinal Talk Show, and that is why we talk about cardinal things that touch people. These are very cardinal matters that touch on Kenyans. And today, I want again to bring my friend, David Murathe. He was summoned by the Select Committee on Health in Parliament. And I want to bring you in as a lawyer and an advocate in this. Signing an affidavit and sending it where you were summoned and appearing in person, are they the same thing? Because you know, Murathe has been mentioned, there are allegations. These are just allegations. But now, the Parliamentary Select Committee wanted him to come and ventilate on the matter about the KEMSA scandal on COVID-19. Now, instead of that, they decided, the KD directors decided just to do affidavits and send it. And it's irked the members of Parliament. Like, it's disrespect. And it is also failure to discharge your civic duty. Is it failure to discharge your civic duty, or it's just this one and the same thing?
Nick, I think it's the highest level of impunity. As a citizen, you owe certain obligations and certain... you know what Parliament does is a simple thing. First of all, it's a constitutional organ that is supposed to help first oversight. you cannot do oversight without saying, we want to listen, this has been said a bit, this has been said, come and clarify or come and help us understand. And you see, it's even the same thing in court. Just imagine if witnesses were called in court and they do an affidavit. Because you need a situation where you can even, like I can tell you, you need sometimes to do a follow-up question based on the answer you've been given. And that is what Parliament wants, and that's why they want you in person, so that they come and tell you that yes, so-and-so came and told us this. Come and give us your side of the story. But also let me ask you, Nick, if you can do business worth 4 billion, and you've done it honestly, why would you be afraid to come and explain how you did the tendering process, at how much, and that there's nothing to fear? Or what is it that you are busy doing? 4 billion of taxpayers' money has disappeared under unclear circumstances. You've just been asked that somebody is accusing you that you're part of this. You are a good citizen. Why would you not come clean and say that, fine, I had the ability, I did it as per the law, these are the documents, and everything was above board? Why would you, what level of impunity will make you that you are called by a constitutional body and you say that you are busy, you are doing affidavits? Because I can tell you, if they wanted you to do an affidavit, they would have expressly said so. Like you live and see sometimes, Parliament can tell you, anybody, you can reach us through submissions. You can reach us through writing. Like you look at even the JSC interviews. Given that there are time constraints, they tell you these are the candidates. And they tell you, if you have any issue on any of this relating to integrity, reach us in writing. This is the email. They'll look at them. If they need to see you in person, they'll come and tell you that we've received this. Come and clarify this before this body in person. To me, I have a feeling that it's the highest level of impunity, that anybody feels that he has a right to do business and nobody should question him on the business. Or he doesn't need to explain to anybody how he did that business.
I think, Bwana Nick, one thing must come out very clear.
This is your vice chair. It's
not Murade is not about vice chair. It's about no, please. There's character. There's a minute. There's a character.
And that one goes with a lot of responsibility.
No. Listen to this.
As the ruling party,
Nick,
Mr. Samson.
we must agree.
Let's agree on one thing. Is the vice chair of a ruling party.
I'm saying this way. Being a vice chair and the character of somebody is a different thing.
Yeah.
And listen to this, Nick. Don't take my time.
But one would inform.
No, don't take my time. Because there's a all seated here. There's a all.
Why don't you just accept it's a Jubilee vice chair?
I don't want to say, because number one, when he was summoned there, he was not summoned as a Jubilee chair. He was summoned as an individual who was doing business
with the government.
But I want to say, once upon a time in this country, but not only that, there are some people who are gatekeepers in the so-called, and they become drunk with the so-called power. Murade is one of them. The guy is so drunk and he thinks that he's untouchable. We know the people. You remember the story of Ouko and the people who were the total men in Moi's government? Are you getting that? So as we are talking, those parliamentarians and all that, even that committee, have the mandate legally to summon somebody. It's like now telling me I'm an accused person in court. It doesn't matter whether I have an advocate. First of all, if I'm sued and then taken to court, I must appear in person. It doesn't matter how much I have. But Murade is telling us he can write some kind of love letters and send to parliamentarians. No, listen. No, please. Please.
There isn't anywhere that is coming.
Thank you. But anyway, what I'm saying, we must actually respect our institutions. We must actually adhere to the rules of the game. Today, as we are talking, Murade cannot do that. Actually, that is a crime in itself. It's actually, how do you want us actually to bring countries together and respect one another, and you behave that way? That money do not belong to Murade. It's me and you to pay back that money. So that's what I'm simply saying. The issue of chairman or no chairman do not come in. Murade must tell up, and in fact, if anything, I would like to see now Murathe actually living there and being taken to court, and we see if he cannot appear in that court. That is bad, and we cannot support that. It's a bad kind of a thing. These are institutions. Kenya actually, we need actually to progress. And there are some people who think that they are so powerful and they can do anything and they will let it go. I think we need to monitor and see exactly what is going to happen in the near future about this cancer thing.
Jubilee Vice Chair Honorable David Murathe, there you are, and the directors of the Killing company that actually got this tender. You are hereby reminded that you have a civic duty that you must ensure you discharge. With all honor that is needed, you must give good examples. Yes, Parliament got hiked up, and it's not a very, very nice precedent to be set, because it will make you appear like you are untouchable. It will make you appear that you are doing this thing not in good faith. So the only best thing, like Okello says, and you're also allowing your own right, all these things. And mostly I know you are a human rights activist. That
Yes.
one comes out very strongly, and that's why you speak so passionately about that. Mr. Murathe, kindly find date and be there. Okello, what captured your imagination over the week as we complete?
What captured my imagination is just what I've actually discussed about Murathe, is the level of impunity that is in this country, where some Kenyans feel that certain laws that bind every citizen in this country is above them, or where they feel that we are bigger than certain institutions in this country. I think that level of impunity should be nipped, or we will lose this country where everybody will feel that if some people can refuse to appear before Parliament, why should I be the one to go before them? Or how can they summon me? Or how can they act on me if they can't act on other people? I think let's be good citizens and let's respect our institutions.
In less than a minute, Samson.
I think what captured my mind last week was about the ruling of which Mutata took actually to court. I want to say that kudos to Mutata as an individual, as an activist. He has also told us now what we are saying is that activism is not about running down the street, but making sure that, as a student of law, law is not actually, they're dead letters. They only become active when actually you quote them in court of law, and we see now you give them a certain energy, then we see how they're working. As we are talking, the ruling itself, thank actually even whoever actually listened to that case, and the outcome actually, it will not help us now, but it's there for posterity, that we can flash back and make use of it as a precedent, which have been said, that it is telling us that now we must follow the rule of law because we are not in the jungle. I think that is a very, very important kind of a ruling to me, is a landmark which we are going to use in the near future.
Okay, with that, we now come to the end of this show. And as usual, this is where we talk matters cardinal. And one cardinal thing that is coming out today is that we need responsibility in terms of governance, in terms of our civic duty, and above all, we must always give good examples of citizenship, because citizenship is a responsibility. So that responsibility that is bestowed upon us by having been born in this country and then declared citizens of this country must be discharged without any biasness. And we are saying this in very bold words, that it must just be followed. It's got to be respected. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for having found time to be here. It's been nice hosting you, and you've given interesting of these stories, and I believe you as the viewer has equally enjoyed, if possible, learned something, and where not very possible, at least we were together in this. You can also critique. Remember, hashtag Cardinal Talk, our social media lines or contacts, Facebook page Lolwe TV, Twitter handle at Lolwe TV, or my Twitter handle at Nick Okello 7. Till next week, we say goodbye. Have yourselves a wonderful week ahead.